Right. Check, 1, 2, and we are good to go. Starting.
Are we live?
Yeah, live.
Can you guys hear me?
Check.
Anybody out there? Is anybody listening to this?
Can you hear us, Louis?
Barely.
Apenitas. You're on number 1, 2, 3, 4. You're on 4.
Alright, let's get this shit started. Episode 23.
Yep.
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan. I hear Michael Jordan episode. We made it.
MJ. As soon as it gets that Kobe episode, we champions now. Alright.
Against the ropes, number 1.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Against the Ropes. I'm Leo Garcia. I'm alongside Christian Mosqueda, Christian Rodriguez, and Lily.
Yeah.
How are we doing today?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
All good in the hood?
You know, I was actually thinking of going with Simo since we have two Christians, so now I get confused. Simos and C-Rod when he gets here.
That's cute.
Aw.
Hey, Joe, I was gonna ask you, do you have a middle name, bro?
No, man.
Nah?
No.
Dude, you should, like, get a middle name, add, like,
Go
Gerald.
pay so
You
that
could be Triple G because you're Double G right now, no?
Giovanni Gerard Garcia. Can you guys hear me well? I can't hear myself.
I can't hear myself either.
You can't?
No, but maybe because my headphones are fucked up.
Oh, there you go.
How about now?
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I can hear myself.
All
I can
right.
hear my own thoughts.
It's kind of cold out here, huh? I'm
It's
trying to
been
stay
raining.
warm.
I don't like the rain, guys, to be honest.
You don't like it?
I feel
don't,
like
man.
it's cool, you know, every now and then, because we're in Cali, like, and we rarely get it. But
Yeah,
it's
we
been
need
like
it.
almost a month now where it's
Yeah,
like
it's
it
like-
rains at least twice a week, and I'm just
It's like,
fucking
all
sick
right,
of it.
we get it, God.
It ruins our week, huh?
Leave us alone.
I don't want to go
I liked it
anywhere.
when I was a kid, but not no more, man. It's like,
You like it when you're inside because it's like calming, the
Yeah.
sound of the rain.
Yeah.
But when you're like out and doing shit, being an adult, it's so fucking annoying.
I know my
True.
dogs just like stay by the door.
I know.
They look out the window.
Oh, I know my cat. He's so mad and like he can't go outside, so he takes out his anger on us. Like he
Yeah.
just jumps at us. Like, bro, it's not my fault.
Yeah. I mean, it's only like 50 something degrees. East Coast people are probably like, man, you little weenies.
Yeah,
For
I have a
real.
friend
For
from
real.
Minnesota, and the other day he told me it was like negative 20
Oh
something.
my God.
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Bitch, stop complaining about like."
You guys seen that video where that guy like pulls out the shirt and he's like, "Look what happens," and like that his shirt like
It's
fucking
just frozen.
Yeah, I'm
What
like,
I
the
seen it with the pants, where like the pants are standing. It's like, what the hell?
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Just share that on the link there, Gio. But
Yeah,
it's
just send it
crazy.
to me.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, but any shout outs you guys want to start with before we get started?
Any shout outs? Oh yeah, it was. Lily's like, you always have birthdays, man. my homie Frank's birthday yesterday, so happy 24th birthday.
Happy birthday, Mr.
Yeah.
Frank. Quiet.
What was that? Was that Chris?
For real, sounded like
yeah, I'm
Chris.
trying to pull up this name.
Who's he?
The one guy who always comments on YouTube. Shout out to
Oh
that
yeah.
Oh
a number
yeah,
one
give him
fan.
a shout out
Yeah, he's a
because I told
cool
you when I
dude.
was watching it, he was like commenting on everything, and I
Yeah.
thought that was pretty cool,
Yeah.
like commitment.
At first, I was like, is she talking about Brian or Sergio? And she's like, no, it's somebody else. And I was like, yeah, it's our number one fan. What's
Yeah,
his
shout
name?
out to all the people listening on YouTube, man. Leave your comments. You know, leave your questions. Talk shit if you want.
Yeah.
All that good stuff.
Tell us we don't know shit about boxing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, those are our best comments. Watch next time. We're gonna have a shitload.
For
You don't know
real.
shit about boxing.
I didn't want to say it, but y'all told me to. Shout out to Derek Jab 2K.
Mhm.
Shout out to that guy, man. He's like the number one comment guy.
Yeah.
Hey.
A loyal fan.
Yeah, man. Anybody else who drops your comments, we'll make sure to shout you guys out. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the guy from the podcast, by the way.
Yeah.
On, on the YouTube comments.
On the YouTube comments.
So if I reply, that's me. You're like, who's the guy from the podcast?
There's 3.
There's 3 of them.
Yeah, but did you guys catch any fights this weekend? There are a lot of fights.
Yeah. I was checked out, so you guys gonna have to fill me in this time.
I only watched the Figueroa and
Oh,
Molina.
Molina Jr.
What you think
and
about
then
that?
Mhm.
I thought the scorecards are way too fucking wide. Like, I understand
I heard that.
having it for, Figueroa, even though I think that Molina did pretty great, and they were both. To me, it seemed almost like they were taking turns landing shit on each other.
Yeah.
It's like, here you go. Okay, cool. Looking at what I got.
But that's both of their
It
styles,
seemed like
right?
Yeah.
That's what it seemed like, because they would like literally just take breaks and let the other person land on them, and I'm just like, it seems like they're taking turns.
So
But-
was it like a Fumbu season type fight? Like they were just
But
close?
they were like constantly hurting each other.
Mm.
Like
Yeah.
they would like go against the ropes. He would land like
Say that
Molina
again.
that right. he would land that right all night long.
Mhm.
But Figueroa also had like really good moments putting fuck, I'm sleepy. Putting
Molina Jr.
Molina Jr. against the ropes, and
Yeah.
and they were
Every time I hear that phrase,
they
I'm
were
like,
always
Who said
always
it?
like hurting each other, where it'd be like, ooh, like nice, but
Yeah.
the scorecards were way too fucking wide.
Were there any moments where like one or the other was like really severely like
hurt?
stunned?
No, but they were stunned several
Okay.
times. Like some punches that you were like, holy shit, this is it. But
Yeah.
not because they were hurt, because they just kept landing
Yeah.
the same fucking punch. Now, I was upset specifically about the wide scorecards, because these are the fights that I'm pretty sure they have on TV, especially on prime time free TV, to get
Yeah.
like casuals to come in
Mm-hmm.
and watch boxing, because I know people, especially most boxing outlets, be like, oh, fuck casuals. But we need them to keep boxing alive.
We do.
And especially if it's something prime time. And then so you see these two guys go at it, and that's entertaining for these casual fans to maybe tune in for the next Fox fight. And then they see scorecards like that, I was
Yeah.
going to turn them away. I was going to be like, what the fuck? I don't want to watch this shit.
and you can already tell, right? That's the first thing they're gonna say. Oh, it's boxing once again. The scorecards,
this is why I don't
corrupt
watch
judges.
this shit.
Yeah.
That's why I don't watch this. That's why I don't pay for this. Because
Yeah.
they see a prime example
So
on
how
prime
how
TV.
wide were the scorecards? Because I did hear something about that.
I think. Hold on.
Did they only give
Wrote
them
it
like
down.
2 rounds or something?
Something like that.
Ah,
And it was just like, come on now.
yeah.
It was pretty
You
fucking
gotta.
funny.
Yeah. I mean, I know that you have like the money fighter, but you got just.
Well, in
Keep
that
it- make it
particular
close, man.
one, who's the money fighter? Because they're both, no offense, but
Yeah, they're both-
they're both like B minus in
Mhm.
my opinion. No offense,
Yeah.
but
yeah.
at the same time, people were already outraged that Figueroa Jr. is like the third time that he doesn't make weight.
Mhm.
So he didn't make weight.
Yeah,
It's
by
like-
a lot.
Yeah,
huh?
by a lot. So he didn't make weight, and he never made weight. Like, it's not like he came back and was like, oh, cool. And obviously, after the whole shit with Victor Ortiz, Molina's
Mhm.
not going to be like, yeah, fuck the fight. He wants to fight.
He has to fight. Yeah.
So it's like this guy, he keeps pulling this shit, and it's like, oh, well,
This is at 140.
I don't remember. Is it 140 or it's 147? No,
Yeah. So
it's
I
147.
think the contract weight was supposed to be 140,
Oh
but
shit.
then
They switched it to 147.
Friday they just switched it to 146.
146.
Yeah, I
Oh.
don't know. It was crazy. And Molina did talk about it a little bit after the fight. He's like,
Mm.
well, obviously, like he wants to fight, but
He can't
he's
keep
saying
doing shit
I
like
don't
that.
want to give excuses, but it is an adjustment because you're training to make that 140, and then all of a
Mhm.
sudden on
That's
the day
so
of,
unfair
it's
for
like,
the other person.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I fucking busted my ass
Yeah.
and didn't eat what I wanted to.
and then it's
Right.
like from 140 to 146. It's like
That's
a
that's
lot.
like
That's a lot.
6
Yeah.
pounds.
Fuck all
That's a
that.
lot.
So that's why I feel like, man, why are you guys doing this to this is a disservice to the sport.
Mm-hmm.
Put it that way.
Did he get a fine or anything or no?
Honestly,
sure.
I'm not sure. Most likely, I mean, I would hope so for Molina's sake.
Molina has to get some
Extra fucking
something
money.
for
Fuck
that.
all that.
And Molina's the bigger guy, like physically. He's
Mhm.
taller,
Mhm.
right?
To me, it was like the battle of the dad bods, because they both have dad bods. They're like soft and
Yeah.
they're little.
Little pudgy in the midsection. Yeah.
Yeah, but like you were saying, they were both hurting each other. Like, I remember one specific instance when Molina hit Figueroa with a big shot, and then Figueroa just came back forward with his own big shots.
Yeah.
So it was like that type of
back and
fight. It
forth.
was just-
Yeah.
And
so
then
the
thing-
wide margins of the
Yeah,
scorecards,
just
like,
ridiculous. And the thing is, like, I remember somebody, I think one of the commentators said something like, oh, this is it for either one, like the last chance. And I strongly disagree, because both of these guys are perfect stepping stones
Yeah.
for 140 and 147
Mhm.
divisions. Like, these are guys that are going to give you a fucking challenge. They're
Mhm.
like the gatekeepers,
The
kind of.
gatekeepers,
yeah.
Because maybe they're not the most skilled fighters, and anybody with a nice, decent ring IQ can maybe box around them,
Mhm.
box circles around them. But for the guys that are like coming up to face somebody with that much pressure, who's gonna pressure you that much, and just come forward regardless of how much you land. Because both of those guys showed they had really nice chins.
Yeah.
These are guys that I don't see them going anywhere.
No.
They're good guys to have in undercards and PBC
Yeah.
against guys that are coming up. And
Panterito's still undefeated too.
Oh, yeah.
He hasn't lost, which I was surprised because we haven't seen him in such a long time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just assumed he took an L somewhere along the way, but when I
No,
checked
he's
the record, I was like,
undefeated,
oh shit, he
he's
still hasn't lost.
23-0, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Something like that.
What was his last fight? He fought, was it Robert Guerrero before this?
No, not that long ago.
It just feels like that because that's
Yeah,
like his last
I can't
name
remember
opponent.
his last fight.
Yeah.
Should've.
That's the thing. Like, if they don't have a name opponent, that's like the one that you,
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
remember.
That's gonna stick with you.
Yeah. If he fought, he must have fought somebody that we don't, hear
Yeah, and then
a whole lot of.
Oh shit! It was.
It
yeah,
was.
right?
Did
Yeah,
Robert just come back?
fuck.
Like,
I know my
he's
shit
back.
sometimes.
Get out the back of your head right away.
I mean, even a broken clock is right twice a day, right?
dude, yeah, fuck. In July of 2017.
2017.
Wow.
Almost 2
Fuck.
years.
And
No wonder he
Molina
couldn't
gave
make
him
weight.
work, yeah. Damn.
It's been
Yeah, and
sitting
it was interesting because he was turning into like
Oh,
southpaw
never mind.
at sometimes.
28 and 0.
28 and 0?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was fighting out of southpaw at times, and he
Mhm.
looked sloppy doing it. So that was annoying me, that part.
Yeah. What do you think about his? Did you see his brother fight? Pandeta's brother, Lily? Have you seen him fight or no?
Mm-mm.
He fought on the undercard of
undercard?
Caleb Plant
Mhm.
at the same
Oh,
building.
yeah.
What do you think
Yeah.
about his style?
I don't remember.
I
I
think
don't
it's.
think
I
I
mean,
watched it.
yeah, it's very. I think it's
Similar.
very similar to his brothers. That's why I'm saying what Lily just echoed. It's a style that any boxer with an IQ can like beat. So I wasn't too sold on it. I mean, it's gonna be like, if you match him well, it's gonna be action-packed fights.
Yeah.
But
It's going to be interesting what happens with him next because, like we said, he's undefeated. So
Yeah.
who are they going to line up? And then the weight thing.
Mm-hmm.
You missed the weight by so many pounds.
Mételo con Josecito, man, right there.
Yeah.
But those you're gonna want to put those fighters with like
Adrian
the
Broner,
name.
dude.
Dang, they're that little.
Just
We
guys,
keep
these,
saying
like,
Adrian
the
Broner
little-
every
the
week.
little B minus fighters, they should all like fight each other because they still make for good, entertaining ass fights, and they
Yeah.
make up for undercards that may not be as competitive.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Most of the time, when you see like a big fight, it's gonna be one-sided or it's gonna be
Mhm.
controversial. So might as well put somebody that's gonna keep the fans happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris.
Oh, Chris has arrived.
Chris is.
But
Hey, that
Ooh,
Bernie hat.
Bernie hat. Hey.
I put that on my post.
take that out for the show.
Hey.
No, but also on the undercard, there was a guy by the name of Sebastian Fundora.
Hmm.
This guy was 6 feet 7 inches tall
I saw that shit.
and was fighting at the 154-pound division.
He looked awkward.
Let me repeat that. He's
Just
6'7",
because-
and he's
just
fighting
because
at
of the height.
154. So I was telling Chris earlier, I was like, so he's basically like a Tyson Fury, except 100 pounds lighter.
Fuck.
For real.
Yeah, that was crazy. I couldn't believe it.
So how was that match? Like he won? I'm
Yeah,
assuming?
actually, his
see it.
opponent was 6 feet 1 inches tall, I believe. And then, but he looked small.
Yeah.
That reach was just pretty crazy. I was watching the All-Star Weekend. I think the 3-point contest was on, but I just had to watch that fight because this guy was like a KD dude,
Mhm.
but skinnier.
Yeah. If I would have, if I hadn't seen the height, I would have been like, oh, this guy's probably like 6'3", fighting a guy that's
Yeah.
like 5'9" or something.
Yeah,
Because this is what junior middleweight, so that's like
yeah, super welter junior.
Yeah.
middleweight, yeah. But yeah, he won by knockout actually. But
Oh, dang.
one of his knockdowns, he landed this uppercut, dude. It was the
Oh.
longest uppercut I've seen.
Turn him into a giraffe.
It was like hitting someone like a guy with a broom, dude. Just like,
I'm thinking of the Liu Kang, like
dude, like the other guy couldn't even react to it. It was
He's like, what
insane.
the fuck happened? Where'd that come from?
He's so tall, but yeah, that was Sebastian Fundora.
Yeah,
Oh.
6'7" uppercut. It's gonna hurt, man.
I think he's like 12-0 now, something like that. But that was that. Do you guys want to talk about the Leo Santa Cruz fight?
I'm just.
Did you guys watch it?
I watched.
Did you watch it? Yeah. What'd you think?
What do you think?
I mean,
Tell us what you said before the show started.
Leo's entertaining, and he's always gonna draw in the crowd that likes to see putazos left and right. He's entertaining. There's nothing bad to say against his style or who he is, but at some point, it gets boring even because it's just like, okay, well,
And he doesn't
it's
have
not
like,
even competitive.
and he doesn't even have the knockout power, so it's not like he's taking guys out.
And it's not even competitive. Like, he's smoking these guys. 1, 2, I'm tired of hearing them mention Gary Russell every fucking time after, like, in the post-fight interviews.
Yes.
And when is it going to happen?
It's
Never. It's
when
never
is
going
he
to happen.
when is he coming back from retirement?
Gary Russell? Shut up. He's not that inactive. anymore.
It feels like he is.
But it's just, I think from Leo, what we need now is unification, and we need it like immediately, because even his other opponent, who was it gonna be, the other one? Fuck, I felt
Who, the new champion?
the other guy that, he hurt his leg. I feel bad. That guy, he
The
wasn't
guy before?
Yeah.
Flores, was it?
Flores. Yeah, he
Mhm.
wasn't like gonna be
I
that.
just took a random
In
guess
my
at a
opinion,
Spanish lesson.
shut up, asshole. Like, he already had some losses, and
Yeah.
my prediction was I was probably not going to be competitive either.
Mm-hmm.
So the last competitive fight Leo had was against Frampton. And maybe some people want to say Maris, but I don't think so,
Yeah.
because he had already beat him anyway. And yes, Maris looked great coming back to, being with Robert Garcia and his last opponents. I think he even looked better than Leo in his last opponents than Leo in like the same time frame. But when is he going to have another like
A credible
good ass
opponent.
fight
Yeah.
and like competitive fight?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like, cool, people's champ, love his style, nonstop sock 'em, bop 'em robots, but I think
us-
at this
give us
point
an
it's like,
opponent.
give us some.
Well, he
Someone
always
else.
calls
Good.
everyone out.
Yeah.
But it's not.
He always says their names:
Mhm.
Frampton, Warrington,
Yeah.
even Gary Russell. But
I think Warrington would make the most sense because he just beat
Yeah, he-
Frampton.
Mm-hmm.
get all the titles.
So I feel like that would be
That
nice.
would be a good one.
Because
Yeah.
Gary Russell, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. I don't think so.
That's not going to happen. And if it does, I think Leo's like the least favorite to win that
Mhm.
fight.
Yeah, because of
Yeah.
styles.
Just
Yeah.
styles. Yeah.
But you know how we were talking about the ring entrances
Mhm.
last week. So this ring entrance, they actually came out from that middle part by the fans.
Oh, did they?
They don't come out from the side
Okay.
of the stage.
I've never been there.
So I was mad. I'm like, how come it wasn't like this last time we were here? So yeah, they went down
Oh,
through
you
that
saw it
middle.
on TV? Oh, yeah.
That middle
Okay,
path?
yeah. And people were like talking shit
Yeah, and then
to the fight.
basically you go in through the middle of all the fans. So
Mhm.
that was pretty cool. The ring entrance.
Man,
And
I missed
then,
that
I mean, there's not much to say about that. Oh yeah, I was watching the Beat the Count podcast, and what's his name? Joseph Diaz,
Oh,
Jojo.
Jojo.
He was
yeah.
there, and he was saying that he actually fought the Rivera on the undercard of Canelo and Chavez Jr.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
don't remember that?
No, I don't
That
remember.
was boring too.
Yeah.
No offense. That shit was
No
fucking
wonder.
boring.
I know I had seen the guy before.
I
Rivera, just
usually
didn't
don't
remember.
like skip on fights, but I remember for that fight, we just got up and went to get pizza because, or get something to eat right there at the T-Mobile Arena because.
Mhm.
it
Oh,
was
you're
boring.
actually there?
Yeah.
I actually
It's
do
boring as
remember that fight. You want me to tell you why?
Why?
Because I was at the movie theater, and I said to myself, I ain't going to watch this fight. I'm going to go to Nike Town. Went to the store, and then came back for the main event fight.
It was boring.
Now
It
I
was
do
that
remember.
boring.
Yeah.
But
don't even remember.
regarding
No offense.
Rafael Rivera, I'm going to say something. You guys are going to explode. I know, I get it. But just keep it to yourself. But
You mean keep it to yourself? We're saying in a podcast.
no, afterwards, like hold
It's
your
a talk show. We gotta talk.
hold your emotions afterwards.
I have no emotions.
So Santa Cruz made $1 million in his fight,
Mhm.
Oh,
Oh, I already know the purse.
I don't.
and Rivera made $20,000 in this fight. So the thing that's interesting about this,
And a coupon to chicken and waffles. No.
And a gym membership.
Un 6 de modelos.
No, I would say something like this.
A grill.
This is more of a Josecito Lopez effect.
Una libra de carne asada.
When you have when you're like in the main event, right?
Mhm.
You're able to be broadcast by also sponsorships, right? So I'm sure even though he's in the main event, because I was right next to Fernando Vargas watching this fight, and I never heard of Rivera until now that I remember now. Oh, okay, that fight on the undercard, right? Chavez and Junior and Canelo,
No, it was Cano Triple G.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I know it's one of those
Oh,
fights.
that's what they said. They said it was the Chavez. but
Yeah.
They
I
were
don't know.
fucking wrong.
And but the thing is, like, you can
Cano
say
Triple
whatever
G.
you want about Rafael Rivera, but that guy can maintain his body with his punches that Santa Cruz was giving to the body.
Oh yeah, those body
felt
punches. Were
those body
fucking
punches from
sick.
ringside, and I
Those
was
were
like,
sick,
"Jeez!"
dude.
But the thing is, Rivera, he is cut. Like if you see his like his
Physique.
body, his physique, like it's on point. Like and Santa Cruz was saying it afterwards. The fight, like I was giving all these punches. I know in the body punch. Well, I'm over here trying to make weight for this marathon right now too. But I get the point. Even when you guys were talking about strength and conditioning, like when you get to the point trying to condition yourself or something like that, like even like, and I'll get to it later on, watching Errol Spence and Mike Garcia up close in person. But like, for Errol Rivera, for you to be fit like that and to get paid $20,000 in that short term period of time, I give him so much credit.
Yeah, and he's not getting hurt. It's not
Yes.
like he's gonna get hurt. It's like
Yes.
taking a fight with Mayweather. It's like, what is he gonna make you look stupid?
Yeah, and I give him credit for
Like-
taking this fight in like a
Mhm.
short
In
period of notice.
Short notice, yeah, of course. What I noticed, he had like a sick ass Tijuana accent.
Yeah.
Like when his corner was like, "Oh, like, you have nothing to lose, just go." He's like, he's not pressuring you. He's like, he is pressuring me. He's like, but
Yeah.
his accent. I used to live in TJ, so I was like, oh my god, this guy. I didn't even notice he was from Tijuana. And I noticed, I Googled him. Like, oh my god, he is from Tijuana. He sounds like fucking accent is the same.
Yeah, so long
Is that
story
Tijuana
short,
accent?
Yeah.
yeah,
Really?
with Rivera though, like I give him credit because at the end of the day, he's gonna get bigger fights after this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
That even with the 20,000 person,
Especially because of his endurance.
yeah, his endurance, like, that's a credible matchup to fight later on in the future.
I give him credit, but I don't give his manager credit. Come on, 20,000. I'm sure he could have like been like, hey, I'm trying to, I'm gonna step in. Give me.
I'd be like, yeah, exactly.
Meet-
I'm
meet me
last
at 50
minute,
or
bitch.
100K,
Yeah.
like, what the
yeah,
fuck?
at least half.
Damn. Yeah, it's hella low.
Yeah, hopefully you say that, man, when you go to your new job. Like I think that's one thing that I take away with watching boxing.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you lose your fight, you know what's your worth and what your fight. You know what I mean? Like you apply for a job.
No, I know he's scratching like their backs. They're gonna help him out, but like that 20K better go up to like.
Yeah, and that's the reason why I'm
Something
bringing
else.
that up. He's in the main event, and but Santa Cruz though, that Josh Warrington fight, that ain't gonna happen. That Carl Frampton fight, that ain't gonna happen.
So then who?
The only
man?
fights that could happen is either Gary Russell Jr. or Gervonta
again?
Davis if he wants to move up, because Josh Warrington, he's already lined up with the ESPN Plus network, so that's going to be associating with a lot of politics right there.
Yeah.
And then you have Carl Frampton, who's also associated with ESPN Plus with Top Rank and Frank Warren Promotions, so that's not going to happen. So the only thing you can happen is just go up with Davis or stay down and unify with the guy who hasn't fought in a while, who only fights once a year, Gary Russell Jr. But the Omar Figueroa versus John Molina fight, that was man, I don't know, man. Like I mean, that fight, I feel like the judges should have gave more respect to John Molina.
Yeah.
That was a purse there.
And I was telling like Fernando Vargas, like, you think that the score was fair, even though he was watching his phone all the time. Like, dude, like even like some people around the ring, they noticed that, John Molina probably gave more rounds than like 3 rounds, dude. So it was really unfair for John Molina. But I thought it was a draw.
I thought it was a draw.
Yeah, I told Vargas, hey, dude, this is a draw. He's like, yeah.
Yeah, that's something that.
What was the purses for those fights?
Yeah, what was the
Figueroa 225,000, Molina 200,000.
See, that's a good
Same
match
thing.
right there.
Same thing.
Pretty even.
But the thing that it was funny too, because I was in the dressing room and I saw Omar Figueroa coming out. You ever met Omar Figueroa lately?
Only like at the press conference.
Okay, like what do you
Not
think
like-
his personality?
He looks like a little pretty boy.
Hmm.
That's it. But I never really like took the time to like,
Hey, let me interview you.
or no, not just that, but to just fighters that but you don't really take
Is
the
he-
time to
He's just like a
do
quiet
research
guy.
on.
Yeah, I was gonna
He's
say
just
that.
a quiet guy, which I don't I'm a quiet guy too, but I don't understand because like the fight was supposed to be scheduled at 140,
Mm-hmm.
and then it had to be rescheduled to 145. And when
46.
what you know what I mean? Like that's ridiculous. And then John Molina was barely even short notice with that pounds afterwards, dude. So and then you could see Omar Ferreira going into the ring, like you could see his belly, dude.
I said
I
that.
could
They're
always see
both,
his belly.
The dad bods.
both of them had dead
You
buds.
know?
And that's the thing. Omar Figueroa don't even got kids, does he? At least Molina has kids.
It's not like he actually has the kids. Like,
He just has the body.
Yeah, that's what we talked about that a little bit earlier. Like
Before
John
you
Molina,
done.
John Molina Jr. should hopefully got like some money, off of that, or maybe a fee towards, Omar for missing weight.
Yeah, I think he did. But it sucks for Molina. But at the same time, he was in national television, and that fight was nothing but war.
Yeah.
But as far as taking anything away from that event, obviously, not really, because when I was there, dude, the only thing that could take away is what happened during the press conference of Errol Spence and Mikey Garcia. So I'm not sure if you want to dive into that, or if there's anything else you want to talk about with Santa Cruz and this undercard fight.
No. Well, let's take this time right now. Let's take Chris to actually call Rolando. Cool.
Now explain what you're calling here.
So I'll explain. Okay, so I'm calling.
Last time I was just
calling. Rolando. Known as Rolly, or Rollies as he goes on Instagram.
Now, for those people like who don't know who he is, because I don't.
Yeah.
Who is he?
So he's an up and coming fighter. I think I want to say the 130, 135 pound division, Lily.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so recently he's made news in the boxing world, or his promoter Floyd Mayweather has extended Ryan Garcia a challenge to fight Rollies for 200K.
Rollies.
Rollies. Rolando.
Well, he had already
Yeah.
been in like the boxing committee's news because he released a sparring video on YouTube of him
Yeah.
sparring Ryan, where he's like kicking Ryan's ass.
Yeah.
But
It's edited, right?
it's heavily edited, and you can clearly see that shit.
McGregor.
Because like McGregor. So it's like, okay, I hate to sound like Paulie Malignaggi here, but release the whole
Oh.
thing, But that's why at first, people started hating on Ryan even more, because they're like, oh, you got your ass kicked by Rollies. And that's how Rollies kind of got. He didn't have that many followers, and he got followers off of that.
Yeah.
And
Video?
then, yeah, because of that sparring video. But he's fucking dirty. And then he's like headbutts and shit like that. But then now,
During sparring?
yeah, and he's the guy that keeps dropping guys in sparring, and
I
people
seen that,
post
yeah.
that. Lalo always posts his
Yeah.
fucking like he even has it on his bio, which I think it's so ridiculous and dumb. Like sparring champion, because he drops guys in sparring, and it's like, bro, when I visited gyms and I see people sparring, like they help each other, iron sharpens iron type of shit. These guys go around gyms trying to like just, I don't know, fucking act up and feed their ego. But he also like low blows. There's a bunch of fucking videos of him like literally punching guys in the dick. And that's why people love him. He's like Ryan, but in a much less known way, because people either love him and they think that he's gonna beat Ryan, and there's people that are like, bitch, like Oscar said, you're a 6-round fighter right now. Please take several seats. So that's who he is, basically.
Okay, so yeah, we're gonna give him a call, ask him a few
Call that guy.
questions.
Because Ryan said he'll take the fight for 200K,
It's not gonna
but
happen.
if he that's not gonna happen. But he'll charge $1 million if he knocks him out.
Nah,
It's a good way to build a fight in the future.
And then
Hell no.
Hey, Rolly.
Yeah, what's up? How you doing?
Hey, doing good. This is Christian with Against the Rules, bro. You're on.
How you doing, Kirsten?
Hey, man. Hey, welcome. So, hey, we're gonna get it started. First of all, I'm gonna ask you a question, bro. Where did this whole Ryan, beef started? Cause we all seen the sparring. Did it start before that? Was it then that it started?
No, I was so they had came over to my gym, right, over their boys' gym, and they and then they had already know who I was, and they came up and asked me to spar, and I had sparred him like I want to say I sparred him in mid-April, and I hadn't sparred, and at the time I didn't spar like until like early February, because I didn't have a fight date. Because like if you look on my box record, I didn't fight for I want to say like 7 months. So they had went in, right, and they had asked me to spar, and I was like, all right, and I'm like, and he comes up to me and introduced himself. He's like, I'm Ryan. I'm my name's Rose, and he looks familiar, I'm like, I swear I've seen this kid somewhere before. I know I've seen him on Instagram or something, And the first day that we sparred, I he starts moving around. He doesn't know no fighting, so I just like it was like a just easy smart session from that the shit out. You know, it was the first time I sparred in at least 2 months. You know.
Mhm.
And then I go to my other gym at the time, which was Toko's. You know, and I get a call after I'm done training. And they're like, oh, that Ryan said that you missed out sparring. I'm like, they never agreed to anything. If I beat the shit out of them, like I didn't think that they would want to spar again, you know. So I'm like, all right, we'll set it up for the next day at 12, right? So we show up to play at 12, and that's the highlight video that most people see, you know, the one where I'm in all black and he's just a red shirt, I believe. And so that's where the beef started, because right after that, get posted a video of him running like a stiff jab on me or something, right?
Mhm.
So I posted a full highlight video on him, and then that's where it started. And then he's starting to say, "Oh, that none of that stuff happened, all that stuff," and that's where the beef started.
Okay. So like
people don't realize that he was the one that started it. It wasn't me. He was the one that posted a video of me.
Okay. So has that video because some of us have seen some of the footage that you have where you catch him, you know, with the shot. Has the whole video gone surfaced or no, not yet?
Oh, I had it was like, oh, put the whole video. So I posted the whole thing on YouTube. Like I said, I'm a man, you know. I'm not gonna like if my fans want to see everything, I'm gonna post everything. I'm not gonna like keep it disguised, you know, of like what actually happened, you know. And so I posted the full video on the internet.
Okay.
I'm transparent.
Okay.
How long is this video?
The video about 22 minutes, I believe. It has about 1 million views on YouTube now.
Okay, we'll be sure to link that up and, you know, connect it. I have another question. Recently, you made you know, news in the boxing world with your promoter Floyd Mayweather offering a challenge to Ryan Garcia to fight you, offering him $200K if he does beat you. Can you give me your thoughts on that?
I think it's good for boxing. Like I said, he didn't just offer him $200K. He offered him $200K and a guaranteed title shot with Gervonta Davis. And like Ryan's been calling out Gervonta but ducking me, you know. So Floyd says, all right, we'll give you Gervonta, but you have to fight a fighter that's been calling me out for ages, you know. And I think it's good, you know. If he wants a world title shot, which I joined boxing to win a world title, you know. So if he wants a world title shot, he has to fight me. And he knows that he's not going to get through
Why?
me. He knows he's not going to get through me, so...
Why?
Because I already beat the hell out of him twice.
So what is your response to Oscar De La Hoya saying that you're not in Ryan's league, that you're a 6-round fighter? What's your response to that?
My response to that is, well, I mean, I already proved I beat the hell out of him twice, you know. I mean, there's mixed comments, but he also has 20 times the amount of followers I have, you know. So there's mixed comments on the video, but I mean, a lot of them push towards me. But as far as De La Hoya saying that I'm not qualified to fight him or whatever, I mean, look, Canelo, I mean, he fought 15. Ryan fought 15 times and won 15 national tournaments in the youth division. He never won anything in the elite division. He never fought a grown man, you know, until, you know, after he turned pro. So, I mean, those national tournaments to me mean nothing. And aside from that, Canelo is a world champ, and I like Canelo. Canelo's one of my favorite fighters right now. And he didn't have any amateur fights. He had like 20 amateur fights, 30 amateur fights. He turned pro at 16, so don't tell me that I'm not qualified, you know. He was Canelo was fighting at the world level against like Cotto's brother when he was 20.
Okay.
So De La Hoya's a difficult. That's what he is.
So on your side, you're ready to go. Are you guys just waiting for De La Hoya to, you know, to give you guys a phone call, or?
I'm waiting for De La Hoya to give us a phone call.
Okay, because
they don't want it. They don't want it. They're asking for $1 billion and all this stuff. You know, that's him saying that they're ducking me. De La Hoya making any excuse why he's fighting me. That's another reason why they're ducking. That's another thing that shows that they're ducking me.
Mm-hmm. Do you think Mayweather will accept those terms, and then, he'll accept that he'll pay out the $1 million just so Ryan doesn't have anything else to say after that, or do you think Mayweather will go on to the media and say, you know what, we'll take that bet? Do you think he will do that, or no?
Ryan's not worth $1 million. Ryan's not worth it. He's never made more than $50K in a fight. His last fight before this one was $50K, and then the fight before that was $25K. So he's not even worth it. He's getting offered 4 times his max fight purse, plus a guaranteed title shot if he beats me, and he doesn't want to take it. So he's not worth $1 million. Either you're a fighter or you're not.
Mm-hmm.
When do you see this fight happening?
When do I see the fight happening?
Yeah.
I hope by then. Honestly, I hope by honestly, I think summer. I hope for summer.
Now, is it smarter to let it? Is it smarter to build it up a little bit more, or do you just want to get in the ring with him?
Wait, what? I couldn't hear you. Like cut out.
Repeat it.
He said, is it smarter to let this fight, build up, marinate, or do you want to just do it now?
No, I'd rather do it now. I'd rather get it over with, and then I'll be on. Like I said, I'll be ready to fight for world title shortly after. My thing is, I want to get my world title. That's all that matters to me. I want to get my world title.
Rolando, we have another co-host that wants to ask you a question.
Hey, Rollies.
Hello, how you doing?
How come you're saying that you also want a world title, but you and Gervonta, you guys had beef too, and you guys had Instagram beef, and you guys were talking shit to each other in the comment section. Why doesn't Floyd give you that shot that he could give Ryan against Gervonta? I mean, obviously you guys are both under his management, and under his promotion, but why not just give you that title shot and give you those $200K?
Thinking about me is like, Floyd, like I said, Floyd gave me an opportunity, and I'm not gonna burn my own bridge. I'll fight. I'll fight whoever. I don't really care. I'll fight whoever. But I mean, Floyd's giving me an opportunity as far as with the Ryan thing, so I want to take that opportunity. There's more than one belt, and Gervonta isn't at my weight class yet. Ryan is. Ryan's fought multiple times at 135. And Gervonta's never fought at 35.
Now, you mentioned the YouTube video, the video you released of the sparring, but I know you said, it's unedited, but there's a lot of cuts, and you could see through it that it has been edited, especially to your favor. And I know you and a lot of people see that you supposedly beat him in sparring, but who have you talk about Ryan's opposition, and you talk a lot of shit about his resume. Who has Rolly fought? You have also been inactive. You've been pro for a couple of years now, and you've only had a couple fights under your belt. Even though you think you can beat Ryan, he does have more experience than you in the ring as a professional. So what makes you think that you beat Ryan based on sparring?
Look, I'm gonna say it like this: the video that's on the internet, the little highlights. I'm not counting those. I'm counting the full videos, and they weren't edited to my favor because I posted the full video as they were. I never posted them as a highlight on YouTube. If you look at both videos, they're posted fully without no edits, no nothing. So don't tell me. Everybody knows I beat the hell out of him. Everybody knows. The only people that are kind of in denial are his 12-year-old fans. What makes me qualified to fight him? Well, like I said, I beat the hell out of him. I don't. Lomachenko won a world title at like 3 fights. Regan won a world title at 6 fights. It's not unheard of for somebody to fight. It isn't unheard of for somebody to fight as. How do I say it? It's not unheard of to somebody to fight with less fights than another person and take their spot.
You also mentioned that Ryan's not worth the $1 million, or that he's not even worth the $200K because, like you said, he hasn't gotten paid that much anyway. But don't you think they don't want to give you that shot? Not because they're scared of you, but because they think you're not worth it. Because who are you? How are they gonna sell the fight? And then at the end of the day, this fight, making of this fight, would actually be beneficiary for you because it would bring you more exposure. Because Mayweather isn't doing enough. Other than this, I had never heard him say anything about you. So now that Oscar's having your name not only on his mouth but on Twitter, and then Ryan's talking about you, and if this fight would probably be on either the Zone or the Facebook Live platform, that would benefit you because, as far as I know, you have not been televised. Am I wrong?
I saw on TV. My first fight was on TV.
It was televised on what platform?
On Bounce, Fox Sports 1.
Okay, but do you think that that's also an issue? That maybe it's not that they're scared of you, it's that they also think that you're not worth it. Because at the end of the day, it benefits you the most.
I'm not worth it, but I mean, Ryan's fought in who was the guy he fought his last fight? Some nobody. So I mean, if you're trying to say that I'm a nobody, then Ryan shouldn't have a problem because he's already fought a bunch of nobodies. He never got paid as much as that. So if you're saying I'm a nobody, well then I guess I'm a nobody. But he hasn't fought nobody better than me. I guarantee you that.
What makes you think that you keep saying, "Well, everybody knows I beat his ass. Everybody knows I beat his ass." What makes you think that you have against him, especially since he has his speed, and now that he's with the Canelo team, he's obviously improved.
I've improved too, so I mean, I don't know. I don't really pay attention to his stuff. I don't know as far as like I don't pay attention to his training or everything. I've improved over this last how long has it been now? Like almost 2 years now. So I've improved a lot since then. And like I said, if he's improved so much, then he shouldn't be terrified to take the fight.
Okay, so Rollies, this is Christian again from AtR. So I have a final question. Let's say this fight does not happen now, and it happens in the future because it might be a fight that might happen down the line because of you guys' history. Of you guys' that's gonna bring in people are gonna want to see it in the future regardless. So what will you do to stay ready because he's in the driver's seat right now? He's with the Canelo team, so he's in the driver's seat. What will you do to get ready for that fight when the opportunity presents itself?
I don't know why you guys keep bringing up that he's with the Canelo team or all this stuff. Like, all right, they train Canelo. All right, that's something special. Okay, but the trainer doesn't make the fighter. The fighter makes the fighter. Like I said, my team is amazing. I've trained with countless named trainers, and the person that I feel more comfortable with is my trainer, Carmel. Mm-hmm. And so I mean, Carmel is known, but he's brought me as far as I am today, So by saying that, that Ryan's with the Canelo team, that means nothing to me. To me, it's just another. They did it more for publicity more than anything.
Okay. Any message, bro? To Ryan, to Oscar.
To Ryan, to Oscar, stop being pussies and take the fight.
Yeah. Any message to your fans? Yeah, I mean, you do have a lot of loyal fans that do favor you.
For my fans, well, I mean, much love, and then you guys are gonna see me when I knock this little bitch out.
I'm gonna be real. I do want to see this fight. I mean, if it doesn't happen now, if it happens later, I'll be tuning in to see this fight.
Nah, it's gonna happen. You'll see, it's gonna happen. We're not gonna fight no damn zone. We're gonna fight on the Mayweather Pacquiao 2 undercard.
Hey, that'd be a good undercard.
Yeah.
Wow, that's an
that
undercard.
fucking streaming bullshit. That shit's terrible for boxing.
Ooh.
Make boxing more exclusive. It's disgusting to me, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of people that do feel like he's not, ready or for a lot of names. So they do think right now is the time to, try to clip him off. But hey, Rollies, thank you for your time. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate you, taking the time to join us and to answer these questions, man.
All right. Anytime. Let me know whenever you guys want me back on.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you, man.
Thank you, Kurt.
All right, have a great day. So that was Rollies
He wants that clout.
answering. You know, I mean, anything that's around Ryan, you know, it's gonna get attention, and so
Yeah, this is my first time hearing about him, so
yeah. And I mean, I seen
it's working.
And now you want to watch the fight?
No.
Like I seen.
What's his record?
Gio's not on social media a lot.
Like six.
6.
No.
No, I don't want to see that.
Honestly,
fight.
outside of, you know, he is very entertaining inside the ring. I mean, obviously, he hasn't fought a whole lot of, you know, stiff competition, but he's kind of an entertaining guy inside the ring and outside the ring. So he would bring that excitement.
He would bring that excitement because it's like it's literally a De La Hoya versus Mayorga. Because remember how much Mayorga used to talk shit?
Yes.
That's literally how.
That's what it is.
And honestly, in my opinion, I feel like that's how it would go. Not because I don't think Rollies has that power and or skill, because Rollies, he's very aggressive, and we've seen how Ryan still has not been touched.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the only way where I would see that. Okay, well, that's a good test for Ryan, but 6 fights is nothing. Even Ryan, how many does he have? 15, 16?
Something
And
like
that's
that.
16,
nothing.
but 17. Yeah.
That's also nothing.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, you both, but that's what it would be like, because all he would be doing is just talking shit the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Something that Broly brought up was his corner, like his, you know.
That's nice.
So
I respect that a lot.
I really hope that's a really good
respect
corner, like a really good trainer, because he's going to need one to, you know, I don't think this fight's going to happen really, you know, soon. It might happen
Shouldn't.
in 2 years, 3 years, but he really needs to stay with, like, Ryan, because Ryan is going to,
I think
know.
Rollies needs to build a name for himself without having to attach his name to Ryan.
yeah.
He needs to let his fighting do the talking, and it's kind of hard because of who his promoter is. His promoter
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily do the most for his fighters, so
Yeah, this is the most I see Mayweather, you know, with
ever
Ever.
with Tank,
Yeah.
either. So it's like, and even do you guys remember one of the interviews where, like, post fight, where he was even saying like, oh, well, I know Gervonta's a champion, but when I was his age, I was already doing his all. I'm like,
Shitting
bro,
on him on
you're
his-
like, that's your own fighter. You got Bob Arum while we're here talking about Lomachenko's the next Ali,
Yeah.
but then you got Mayweather like shitting on his own fighter.
You know, I was getting ready to say that. I think Mayweather's a terrible
promoter.
I don't think he
fuck
knows what
anybody
he's doing,
himself.
but hey, whatever.
But that's the thing, like, how can Ryan build himself up? I mean, Rollies, he needs Ryan.
Yeah.
He needs Ryan. He needs to attach his name to Ryan to be
Yeah.
able to get this clout.
Smart.
Yeah, it's smart, and and that's how you get people to want the fight. Because other than that, who is you?
Yeah. To me, that what sucks about being like a Mayweather fighter is like you kind of already attach yourself to like the antagonist, so you kind of have to play the villain role,
You
you
do.
know.
You do.
And so that's something that we talked
Yeah.
about fighters in the States. It's like you kind of have to play that bad guy role nowadays. It's kind of hard to sell yourself if you're like the good guy and stuff. I don't know. So that's that. I do want to see that fight though. Whenever it happens, you know, should be interesting.
It should be interesting. I learned something new today.
Hey, Mayweather Pacquiao too.
All right. So
Yeah, but talking about trash talking, do you want to get into the Anthony Joshua against
yeah,
Baby
Chris
Miller?
Chris, you
I
want?
don't think we should talk about that because next week you're gonna have the second press conference for Joshua and Miller, and
I'm
then
not watching that.
and then you got the WBC order for Wilder and they're mandatory. So everything about the heavyweights is gonna get cleared up by next week. But I think we should just chop it up with what happened with Errol Spence and Mike Garcia with these conferences, because the only reason I say that because Joe Joyce is going to fight this Saturday, and then next week Luis Ortiz is going to fight the following week. So you got the heavyweights trying to take the spotlight. But as far as Errol Spence and Mikey Garcia, props to Mikey Garcia for taking this fight.
Yeah. And I saw your interview with Schaefer, and I do agree with what he said. That usually the great big man beats the great little man. So, but the thing is, that's what we're gonna find out is which one of them is great.
It's not even that about. It's not even about that anymore, honestly, dude. The thing is, like, not what I take away with Mike Garcia is that, you know, there's times when you look at yourself in the mirror and you start talking about like some of the stuff that you did in the past, or like how you feel like shit, or what you're gonna do to improve this and that. Like what are you chasing? Like who are you trying to become in the future, right? Like everything that all these other boxers are trying to marinate, right? But when it comes to Mike Garcia, it goes down to high risk and high reward. This boxer, just like Sugar Ray Leonard, made everybody look terrible because one, he was a free agent. Two, he was fighting in multiple networks, right? In this case, not just being in one network, not just being in one promoter, right? Mikey Garcia is doing everything that every single boxer is not doing. And that's crossing bridges with networks, crossing bridges with people at 140, at 135, and at 147. He's making every single boxer look bad because nobody wanted to take a piece with Spence. And this guy, Mikey Garcia, is moving up 2 weight classes, dude, at 135 to 147. Even Lomachenko was saying, yeah, I'm not gonna favor Mikey Garcia to win that fight. But at the same time, dude, man, if you're black and Hispanic, take notes, dude. No excuses, and search for greatness in some way, shape, or form, dude. Because Mikey Garcia, just like when I was interviewing David Benavidez, like he's concerned for Mikey Garcia because it's a huge difference, big difference. And the thing is, what I take away from these two individuals is the fact that you never see 2 top elite fighters fight in their primes in this stage of their time. It's always where there's like a 5 or 8 year difference. And this fight, like you said, Chris, like 3 months ago, this fight should have never been happening. It should have marinated, right? Mikey should have marinated, right?
Go into like the B level.
Yeah.
147s. The thing is that Mikey's so fucking smart.
Yes.
Boxing wise, he's so fucking smart in the ring. He's so smart. His boxing IQ is ridiculous. I think what people are concerned with, I don't think people are doubting that Mikey can pull an upset, or that he can,
if they are, I don't think they watch boxing.
But the thing is, though, that
honestly,
I think what people are concerned for, at least me, is the size difference.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not, we're not saying, oh, Mikey and Shay's going to get smoked or he's going to get knocked the fuck out. No, it's because of the size difference. And that's why the fucking weight classes exist. And Mikey's already a small dude. To be facing someone like Spence, who walks around 160 at least.
And that's the thing. I feel like this fight, there's more pressure on Spence than there is pressure in Mikey Garcia. Who is Spence, right? Some people would say, oh, he fought Lamont Pearson, Kilbrook, right? But who is Spence, right? What titles has he won, right?
Well, that's when people bring up resumes. I'm like, if anything, Mikey has a better resume as in fighting champions too.
Juan Lopez,
and
Rocky Martinez,
a lot of people
Rolando
say shit like, oh, Mikey would be, would take the journeyman's championships away, or he would just fight the easy fights, and then he wouldn't face elite fighters, that he was just taking titles from anybody. But they're still titles, and they're still world champions. He's still fighting champions. And it's not like he's like, oh, like he said, just taking easy way, oh, I'm gonna fight this guy who's not even a champion at this weight class, and then I'm gonna go for a champion. He has gone up in weight directly to champions. And what can you trash talk about that? I think, again, the concern is just the weight class and Mikey possibly being hurt.
He said yesterday on the second press conference that he was being made fun of. You remember when he was talking to Terrence Crawford? That big interview that blew up with Bob Arum? They were all 3 together talking about this mega fight. Like, we pulled it up. Spence and Crawford were talking.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And Crawford hit him in the stomach.
Oh, I said, you're a little pudgy.
You little pudgy. and yesterday he addressed that. He was saying that, like, people were making fun of me because 2 months ago I was weighing 190 pounds.
Yeah, the motherfucker was huge. And he's built huge. Like,
he's built huge.
He's
tall. Yeah.
He's built.
He's not tall.
He's
not tall, Chris.
He's
not tall, but his frame is
I've always said he's
he
not
wears
supposed
big
to be
shoes.
fighting at 147, right? He should be fighting really the Canelos, because he's probably bigger than Canelo.
Well, he's called out Canelo before.
Yeah, but
because
honestly,
everybody wants that fight, but
that's the only reason this is the fight that it is, right? The weight differences. Because if you put Errol Spence against Canelo, like, that's not really a fight. But
it would be the same thing in my... Well, no, not really, because they weigh the same.
They're the same, but it's not really a fight like that. But
I think every single boxer is being scheduled to not be in a weight class anymore.
Well, yeah, weight classes don't exist anymore. But that's the one thing about when Richard Schaefer says, I know he's a promoter. I don't give him shit for it, but I give the media and the fighters shit for saying whoever wins to meet #1 pound for pound. It's like, shut up. It's like, really, Spence, if he wins one big fight, he's going to become the #1 pound for pound fighter.
Especially now with his Mikey.
Exactly.
I think that Mikey would go way up in the rank. He would fucking go way up. And the thing about Mikey is, I think that's what makes this fight so intriguing, because yes, most people think that Mikey's going to lose. But the same amount of people, though they think he's going to lose, also very much know that they could be an upset. Like, it's not like they're just counting him out. It's just like, if there's anybody that can pull an upset, it's Mikey.
It may not be crowned as #1 pound for pound, but you will be crowned in national television like all eyes will be on you
What?
at Jerry Jones in this big stadium.
Pay-per-view, you know
in
that,
100
right?
people. How many people are going to actually watch that fight? It's going to be like Chris. Everybody in that press conference felt it, dude. This is not just an ordinary fight. It's not. It's going to be this huge event. That's why. That's the difference between boxing
Texas,
and NFL.
bro.
There's so many Super Bowls in boxing. It depends how you match up, right? This fight should have not happened like until 2 or 3 years ago, right? But Errol Spence and Mike Garcia builds up to that type of fight. And like even David Benavidez said it too. He was telling me, yeah, I'm fighting Jalen Love, but it sounds like it's like a world title fight because the whole stage and magnitude. Imagine fighting in front of 100,000 people.
Well, there's not gonna be 100,000 people there, but that's like I said, that's the only reason it's a fight like this because of the weight difference. Because if Errol Spence is Mikey's size, it's Rocky Martinez against Mikey Garcia, right? It's Juanma Lopez against Mikey Garcia, right? It's the same thing, but that's the only reason why this is a big fight because of the huge weight difference.
Yeah, but you can say that. I don't think so. At the Errol Spence.
Well, I mean, who has Errol Spence fought?
Again, see this. We had this conversation already. Spence is somebody that.
I mean, if you put Errol Spence against anybody and try to sell pay-per-view, he's gonna sell 5,000 pay-per-views.
It's because in boxing, like any other sport, you can match up. You're gonna see him. Okay, I'm gonna play the Lakers twice in the East Coast, right? And in baseball, you could play the same team probably 3 times in the whole season. But in boxing, you're not forced to fight anybody. It just depends how you want it, right? So in this case with Spence, who dude, I'm trying to call out your name. Like, can we negotiate or anything like that? Like, what do you do if nobody in the other side or wants to talk to you or wants to fight you? What do you do as a fighter? What do you do?
Well,
It's the Triple G effect.
He has Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia on his team. So
They don't want to fight
They
him.
wanna fight with each
That's
other,
my
yeah.
point.
we'll move up and wait.
It's not. If somebody is
Why
giving
would
you
you
that
wanna
fight
move
with
up?
Mikey
Let me tell you-
Garcia,
hold on,
that's
let
gonna
me-
make you so much
Because you're already
money.
a big 147.
And
Why are you trying to bully these smaller guys?
What's attractive? 147 or 154 right now?
Errol Spence is not attractive.
What's attractive?
Says who,
147.
Gio?
If he's not
Do
fighting,
you not follow boxing?
if he's not fighting Keith
Do you
Thurman,
not follow boxing?
answer this. If
Gio,
Do you not follow
what's-
boxing
what's
to
more-
say that Errol Spence
All right, let me
is
speak.
not?
Don't get
oh,
so
now you
emotional.
don't like
see?
it. Oh,
You see?
now you don't like
Because
it.
you guys don't like answering questions, all right?
Well,
'Cause
I'm
this,
saying-
this is not gonna make you guys
Yeah,
look
let
good.
him
What's
ask the
the-
question.
answer,
Yeah.
answer the fucking question. If Spence doesn't fight Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, or Manny Pacquiao, do you want to see him fight?
Yes.
Do you think the public will want to see him fight?
Yes.
Against who?
Who did he fight
What's gonna
last?
be a big fight?
That little in July or June.
What's gonna be a big fight?
That body shot. What was that guy's name?
At his hometown. All right. Who do you want to? Who would you
Santana.
want to see him fight?
Anybody in PBC, because
you
those.
think
But
that's
they're
gonna
not
be a big
gonna.
fight?
They're not. Yes, they're not gonna fight each other. Not the top ones right away. Because they're all in the same fucking under the same guy.
Yeah.
So they're not all gonna fight each other right away. I love that they're
So
mixing them up here and there, but they're not all going to fight right now.
So if Spence
And
fights
obviously the
anybody,
Crawford fight is not gonna happen. So what is the next best thing? The next big money fight, the next big fucking deal
That's not what
because
I'm
of the
asking.
community in boxing that
Answer
are
the
Mexican and
question.
blacks who love fucking boxing.
who can he fight that will make a big fight? Other than the names I just mentioned.
Anybody. Not to the caliber of Mikey, but he is a favorite.
right.
For you to say shit
All
like,
right.
"Oh, he's not a
He's
favorite."
not.
Yes,
People don't
he
know who
is.
he is. He can walk by
In
right
the
now.
boxing
Nobody's
community-
gonna know who he is.
Most people won't fucking recognize Triple G if he walked by
Well,
here.
he's not really a big name like that either.
Well,
Exactly. Who are the big names in boxing? Canelo, AJ. Who else? Who else,
Pacquiao.
Jim? Who else?
And that just proves my
There
point.
you
I've been
go.
saying this whole
there
time.
You fucking go.
That's
So
why
who-
boxing is kind of
so how
dead.
can you say that it's?
That's why boxing is
okay,
dead.
Now you're
Boxing-
bringing
That's
it
my
to
point.
something else. Now you're bringing it to another point. You said, "Oh, nobody would recognize him."
You just proved my
Nobody would
point.
recognize Crawford. Nobody would.
Obviously.
I bet people wouldn't even fucking recognize Mikey right here.
Probably not.
But in the boxing community, in the clique that is boxing,
Mm-hmm.
to say that Errol Spence is a nobody or he doesn't
He's not a
draw
big name.
people,
He's not a big
that's
name.
fucking bullshit.
He's not a big name.
That is fucking bullshit
He's
because
not-
he's headlining for a fucking reason.
Put him a pay-per-view against Josecito Lopez. How
Pay-per-views
many-
don't mean shit nowadays.
You know why?
Unless it's Pacquiao.
Because boxing is dead. That's why.
That's not what your initial point was. Yes, it draws to the fact that boxing is dead. Obviously. But that was not your initial point. Your initial point
He's not a
was
big
that
name.
Errol Spence is not a big name.
He's not a big
No
name.
one is. But in the boxing community, which is why we do this
There
fucking
is big
podcast,
names.
because people listen.
There is big names
Not
out there
anybody's
still.
gonna listen to. Only boxing fans are gonna listen to this. Only boxing fans follow boxing pages. To those people, he
matters,
is a
yeah.
big
Not to
name, and
me.
he fucking. Who are you? Who the fuck are you?
It's just my opinion. You don't have to get mad about it. I'm just one
Because-
person in this
I think
room.
what-
Why are you guys so?
I think what
Why
you're
does
trying
my
to-
opinion
Because-
matter so much?
I think
It
what-
doesn't. That's the
Then
thing.
why you get so loud?
Because it's dumb as fuck for
I
you to be
think-
making those comments.
He's not a big name. He's not even a top 10 pound for
You
pound
are
fighter.
so dumb.
when he says
Who has he fought? Show me his resume. Pull it up.
Peterson was a really good fucking name, and the way he defeated Kell Brook in his own fucking hometown.
Was Peterson ever a top 30 pound for pound fighter?
Who the fuck said he was?
Hold up.
Yes or
But
no?
that's
Yes.
still-
Answer the question. Don't get so emotional. Answer the question.
But Gio, aren't you waiting for that fight, Lipinets versus Peterson? You did said that fight. That's
because I
one
want to
fight.
see Lipinets. What's your point?
Oh,
All right, be quiet.
Really?
All right, so answer the question.
Who's Lipinets? Who has
Hey.
Lipinets fought besides Broner, dude?
Wait.
I don't care. What?
Oh, no he doesn't care.
What
Now
just
he,
wait?
now he
Repeat
doesn't care
that.
about resumes.
Repeat that.
You go ahead, Lily.
No, repeat that.
Say what I said.
No, repeat that.
He said, "Who has he fought?"
Besides
Who has
Broner, he never fought Broner.
Broner is at one wasn't at 140.
He fought Mikey Garcia.
Yeah, who is he fought after Mikey before Mikey Garcia?
I
That's my first time.
I
hearing
liked them.
Lipinets.
That's why I'm gonna watch them.
But that was my
Okay,
first
your
time.
point?
But
We're
what's your
asking
point?
you the same question you
What's your
asked
point?
us.
Who's Lipinets before
he
Mikey
fought?
Garcia?
Who has he fought?
Who gives a fuck about Lipinets?
Oh, now,
What the
now
fuck?
you don't give a
You
fuck.
guys gotta get your shit together. 'Cause
Now
you guys,
you don't give a fuck.
You guys get so emotional. You don't
I
even know what
love
you're arguing.
Lipinets. I love Lipinets, and I think that's gonna be a badass fucking
Oh,
fight.
man.
I like Lipinets.
Okay.
He's not a big name, obviously, but I like
no
him.
one said he was, but that.
Then what's your point?
We're throwing the same fucking questions at you. The same questions that you like. Who
Like-
is he? Who is he? Who is he fought? Who is he fought?
Like
Tell
I-
me.
like
Tell me.
I told-
Who he fought?
like-
Now we're just switching you the fucking questions to you. Like, who is he?
Like I told Chris 2 weeks
We're
ago.
not trying to say like,
Write it
oh,
down.
he's not.
Get your thoughts
a
together
good
and then try
fighter.
to make a debate.
You make a debate that isn't about your own personal opinion. Take into consideration the fact that other people, especially like I said, in the boxing community, see these guys as a big deal. To put your own personal little opinion aside and your own personal little bubble, put it aside, and then think, is Errol Spence a big deal? Maybe not to you, but to the boxing community, he is.
Yeah.
Well, because they watch too much Disney.
I think what Gio's trying to say is that
Yeah, tell
he
him,
can't
dude.
sell a pay-per-view with anybody
No
that's
one
not
can.
Yeah. No,
No
but
one
but he's
can.
pretty
Ask
much
yourself
he's
why.
saying he can't sell one without those names, and it's really hard to with you need names.
And that's
So.
my whole point, but I don't know why they get so emotional.
It's because you said like you kind of made him seem like he's a nobody, but I kind of
He's not a big name. That's the whole point. You can't even argue that he is.
he's a big name in the boxing community. He is,
Yeah.
but yeah, he's still.
You got to be a boxing nerd to care about Errol Spence.
But yes, I get you. He hasn't convinced you until he fights these names, and it's not gonna happen anytime.
Nobody
and
does.
it's difficult because he can't come across with anybody.
You
So he can't.
Am I talking to a wall right now, dude?
Because you said,
My goodness.
I told you, who's more attractive at 154 or 147? If I could stay at 147, I'll stay at 147.
Just move on.
Yeah,
He
and
doesn't even know
obviously
what I'm talking
147 is more attractive to Errol, but he's not
It
fighting
is.
those names like anytime soon. So
Yeah, and it's
154.
about. And they're his stablemates.
Yeah, at
There-
154 he would get more names that he can.
who can Spence get at 154?
At 154,
Everybody.
There's only one guy
which one?
at 154. Well, two guys, but one matters.
Okay, so name the two names, Chris.
Swift
Mm-hmm.
and then Lara.
Yeah, and I'm sure he could if he moves up to 154.
Those
he
are
had-
names, man.
he'll
Fight
ha-
some names.
He'll have a better chance of fighting those guys than the 147s right now.
Spence.
If Kell Brook is your best name, I don't want to hear it.
I mean,
He's important.
I
Errol
mean,
Spence is
if
important.
I ever see Spence, I'll make sure I'll play this soundbite for him and
Play it. He knows the truth because they've been been
Let's
giving
see.
him shit
and
lately.
let's see. Let's see.
That's why he's been talking so much shit because all the reporters are getting on his ass now.
And that's my point. I said there's more pressure on Spence than there is pressure on Mikey
Yeah.
Garcia because there's gonna be people
time.
like Gio who
And I've been saying this shit for years. You guys are fucking 3 years late.
nah. It's just for
I'm not speaking too fast.
People
You're
know-
just listening too slow.
Wait, how old is Spence? 28?
he's
29?
Motherfucker's down near
20,
30.
He needs,
28.
he needs to have these
He has
fights.
24
28,
fucking
like-
fights. You know how many fights Mikey has?
Yeah,
And he was out for 2 years.
yeah. Mikey's older, 30. Yeah, but Errol's in his prime. He needs
That's
to
why you're not a big name, dog.
needs to fight.
Step your game up.
these names like.
Yeah.
And Mikey's not gonna get you
And
there.
I saw
so
Crawford.
you
I
gotta
saw
fight some
Crawford calling him
147s.
out like calling him out. Like you
Yeah.
can tell Crawford wants that fight.
Yeah.
I'm sure Errol wants that fight too.
It's gonna happen.
And that's what they don't understand. They need each other.
Yeah, but the powers that be have to make these fights
Mhm.
already, man.
And yeah, and it'll happen. Something interesting happened this past
So
week.
don't
that
get
happened.
emotional, Chris and Lily. All right, maybe someday he'll be a big name.
It's like, to me, it's like you're in your own world.
Who
Everybody has
cares?
different worlds. It's up to
Next
you,
topic.
You know, so the fact that Mike Garcia took this fight against Spence, which he should have not. Again, props to him, and hopefully you know what you're doing. But
But that's why it's important for people to actually go on their records and look at the names, because Disney's going to tell you this, the promoters are going to tell you this, and if you choose to follow that and be brainwashed, that's up to you.
My
but
thing,
just look at the truth.
my only thing that I do want to argue with you is that
I don't care what you got to argue, dude.
Boxing is not
Dude,
dead. That's one thing that I highly agree.
I think he's talking about the mainstream. He's talking in the mainstream.
You guys just said it was. Basically, you said nobody could sell pay-per-view and nobody's a star. But that's what I said. Write it down. Try to come up with a good argument.
Let me
and
ask
then,
you,
respond, because
if
I mean, you guys are like
part of the-
flip-flopping all over the place.
all right, why do you think boxing
Think
is
before
dead?
you speak.
Why do you
You're the
think?
one that brings up rape allegations with like random
I brought up
boxing shit.
I brought up allegations. You just heard that one word.
You
See that
brought up-
clickbait?
You literally said
I was
it
talking
like,
about allegations.
If somebody says I raped them, and it's like boxing, but you're bringing up rape.
I'm talking about allegations.
So how about
'cause
you get your shit together too?
I was
so
talking
you don't
about
have to bring
allegations.
up rape
Because
allegations in your like arguments.
you're talking about Margarito cheating, but there's no proof. So I'm talking about allegations.
And
You gotta
and-
listen.
And
See?
the closest thing you're gonna use is like rape culture.
That was just one word. I said you can accuse me of
That's
anything like
the
rape,
closest
and
thing
people can believe it.
you're gonna go
Well,
to.
I should have said something else,
There
but
you go.
So, what was your question, Chris?
write it down, dude.
Oh no, the whole boxing is dead.
It's not dead.
It's not.
It's
dead.
not.
Who can sell
It's
pay-per-view?
not in the mainstream, but
Name
it's,
the four
it's
names.
Not dead. It's a niche sport. It's
I think what happened with this fight with Jarrell Miller, Anthony Joshua, convinced me with everything that the networks are gonna push their A star. I don't care even if you're Canelo or Joshua to fight the fighters that we want. That's what ended up happening between
What
the
are you
zone.
talking about?
If you listen, you get what I'm trying to say.
Stop getting mad, Chris. Relax.
Why am I?
Take a deep breath.
I don't know, Gio. That's you. My thing is with the zone is able to bring Anthony Joshua across the board to fight over here, right? And who does everybody want the zone to fight between Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder?
yeah.
To me,
Those guys don't want it, dude.
it will eventually happen because part of the reason it's going to happen is because the zone is going to have to evolve, right? What's the next elevation for the zone? They're going to have to try to do their own pay-per-view too.
Yeah, they're gonna sign with a cable company or something. That's what they're gonna do.
And the thing is, you are not going to invest $80 million in Tyson Fury. That's not going to happen unless there's actually, an incentive that you're going to profit, right? So obviously the business is booming, right? The zone wouldn't be giving Eddie Hearn $1 billion if the business ain't booming. It's not. I mean, the part of the reason why people say boxing is this, because you probably hear people saying, "Oh, baseball or basketball or any other sport is
It has
better than
nothing
boxing."
to do with it, dude.
And what are you
I
talking
grew
about?
up. I grew up watching boxing when boxing was alive, man. People were actually making money. People were actually selling pay-per-views. You grew up in a different era, so you don't know about it. But yeah, boxing's pretty dead.
Why do you think it's dead then?
You just had a whole argument that these guys can't sell pay-per-views
Is
and that none of these guys are stars. Do you
Tyson-
not listen to what you're saying?
how
or
many pay-per-views?
300,000.
against. I'm not talking about the Wilder, right? Wilder and Fury.
Mm-hmm.
What about the Manny Pacquiao one?
I don't know.
If
The same, right?
at the end of the
Wasn't
day, if you're making profit after the initial quota to make pay-per-view buys, then you made a big profit. Then
You
that
know how many
means-
De La Hoya was selling?
because he's Mexican American, dude. We're talking about
know how many-
fighters that are not even Mexican
Is
American.
Mike
at
Tyson
all.
Mexican American?
Oh my gosh. What can we say about Mike Tyson, dude?
Knocking fools out.
Knocking
My
fools
God,
out. We talked about this, right? About promoting yourself. Either you're knocking out somebody or you're
Is
Mexican.
Roy
or
Jones?
if you're,
Is Roy Jones Jr. Mexican American?
he's knocking people out.
Damn, I was
Is
knocking
Tito
fools out. That'd be
Trinidad?
a pay-per-view attraction.
He's what's his
Triple G was knocking people out.
Yeah.
exactly, and the only way that
Yeah,
fight
and he
could
didn't sell
happen
shit.
between David and that's the only
Y'all gotta get your arguments.
that's the
together,
only
man.
way we were
I
able
feel like
to
I'm
get the
talking
fight
to the wall.
against David Lemieux, right? That's the only way that fight could have been happening, right? Against David Lemieux because of pay-per-view.
How many did that sell?
It didn't matter because we at least saw
Answer
it.
the question.
We
How
saw
many did
it.
it sell?
We saw it. 75,000.
Thank you.
And at least we saw it. Because or else we would have not been able to have the argument, hey, what could have happened between David Lemieux
Nobody cares.
and
about
Triple G?
David.
You may not care because you may not be that much interested in watching boxing, just like the general fan that wants to watch boxing, dude.
Yeah, I think that's
everybody,
you literally put it right to how it is. You are the type of boxing fan who's like, I don't know watch that. Yeah, I'm not gonna watch that.
But yet again,
So then exactly.
You
but
know what's
then,
funny,
So
though?
it doesn't apply to you.
you know what's funny?
Just because it doesn't apply to you, you're like in your own bubble. Like, I'm not gonna watch that.
I mean,
That's
I
not
can make
worth
it.
it.
You can make it sound
That's
like
not
that.
worth it. I'm not gonna watch that. And it's like
Let me speak
anybody
now.
else, you speak on your own. You know, that's fine, and that's fine. You have your opinion, but again, ignore for a little bit, just a tiny little bit, your own opinion. And like you said, boxing is dead, right? It is. It's dying. I disagree with Chris on I agree with you on that. I disagree with Chris. It is dying. Like he said, it's a very, very tight community of people who actually
I
give
like
a
it
fuck
like
about
that.
boxing.
Honestly, I like it
You're
like
more
that.
of like, you know about boxing, but you're more of a casual in the way that you don't give a fuck about fights. People,
may sound like that.
no, it is like that.
No, but look, answer this.
No, it is that like
Let
that
me
because you
speak.
can be like, oh, that's fine. I don't want. We can say that same shit. We can criticize fights and be like, yeah, that fight's stupid, but we're still gonna watch. And
You know
that's what a
But
boxing fan is, because I can turn on the TV to fucking Estrella TV to like literally
that's my
nobody.
point. That's my
and
next
I
point.
still
That's my
want
next
to watch
point
it.
because every weekend I watch more boxing fights than you guys. So
He does.
I mean, I watched every single fight this weekend, and the first thing when I walked in here, I was like, "Hey, did you guys watch the fights on Friday, ESPN?" Nope. What about Saturday?
we
Nope.
were like working and doing shit.
Hold on.
Have a job,
I'm just
guys.
saying,
Tell me-
I
tell
watch way more fights than all you guys put
Hey.
together. So
I'm surprised you're watching Disney.
huh? I don't watch
I know.
Disney.
I thought you said you watched the fights on
Oh,
Friday.
I was gonna get to that actually because
Did
I was
you-
watching the.
Did you saw the
Disney.
fights on ESPN?
I was watching the Celebrity
Did you
All-Star
saw the
game.
fights on
Let
Friday?
me speak, dude.
I'm
damn.
asking you a question. Did you saw the fights
Let
on
me
Friday?
speak. I'm getting to it.
What fights did you
Yes,
saw on Friday?
I saw it.
Okay, there you
I
go.
was watching the NBA Celebrity All-Star game, and then boxing popped up, so I was like, "Oh shit!" And then I watched the fights. But did you guys watch it?
Not this week.
You know, you were watching the All-Star game, right? You were watching the All-Star game, and I was at the Santa Cruz fight. Rather be over there and then watching the All-Star game.
I watched the fight.
So that's huge difference between me and you right
I
there.
watched the fight.
I was at the fight.
How many fights did you watch this weekend?
Were you at the fight this
Answer the
Saturday?
question.
Were you at the fight?
I didn't care. I didn't care about going to the fight.
I was at the fight.
I'm not gonna spend my money on that shit.
Yeah, I was
But how many fights did you watch this weekend?
this weekend.
Mhm.
I saw probably like 5 fights on Saturday.
Okay, then.
Live fights.
Be quiet.
That's all. That's all there needs to be on the event.
Hey, I'll be real, guys. I've been watching so much boxing that the doctor said that I need a weekend
There
off.
you go. There you go.
I'm not listening to the doctor.
I'm not gonna like. If this is the Olympics and if you win a medal about how many fights you watched, then you're always gonna win, dude. You mentioned that you watch more fights than Bad News Burrell, right?
Yeah.
It's true. So
No,
I'm
you?
not.
Yeah. So don't you guys feel kind of weird right now because you just call me a casual fan?
because that's Lily's argument right there.
No, I think he's a real boxing fan, but he's just like a casual debater, casual observer.
No, in the
sometimes.
contrary, he's like super debater, but not really watch. Like, we can hate fights and matchmaking, but let's be honest, we're still gonna fucking watch that shit. Mayweather, Pacquiao. To I don't want to.
And
I
I'm
don't
still
want
gonna
that
watch
fight,
my
and you're
more
still
fights
gonna
than
watch
you,
it.
Lily.
Okay, so you're saying he
¿Quieres
closes.
una galletita?
There
¿Quieres
you
un
go.
mariachi? Te hago un mole. ¿Qué quieres?
Oh, hell yeah.
So you're saying he closes
Enchiladas,
himself off to
mole.
the whole picture, the big picture,
Yeah,
right?
because it's just like
I
that.
think I know too much
Blacks
for
with
you
eyes.
guys.
Oh, yeah.
Blacks one eye.
All about down to Gio, the all knowledgeable
No,
boxing.
but I will
mean-
agree with you, Lily. I don't like just because I'm like there's the other side of the opinion. I'm not gonna disagree, or I'm just not gonna shut you. I'm gonna listen to you. Go ahead, like right, or else you're gonna be involved with groupthink.
Yeah, that's why I said like I'm only one person in this room. I don't know why you guys get all riled up by the things I say. I don't watch
calm.
boxing anyway. At the end of the day.
Yeah, when I feel like boxing is always gonna be alive in a niche. It's always gonna have like that little, that audience. I do agree when we say it's dying. It's because they're not telling the stories as much anymore. The way HBO did it, the way we're used to hearing these narratives. That's what I'm. That's where
I think Frog Dog and Anthony Sims Jr. said it the best. Like when you ask them what fights do you want to see, they're just like, you know what? It's hard to even get excited about these new guys nowadays.
Mhm.
Like, is just different than it used to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like back in the 80s, HBO did a fucking fantastic job of showing, you know, their stories and narratives. You know, even in the 90s and the 2000s, you know, where we get the 24/7s and all that, you know, just gave light to, you know, these boxers' stories, and that's what really sells it. I think Max said it on Max on Boxing, how we need narratives and we need, you know, more boxing content showing that.
Yes. It was today. Today there was actually a face-off between Gerald Miller and Anthony Joshua, so I'm looking forward to seeing that face-off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how they were able to get those two to sit down together.
Right.
And so this Saturday you have Anthony Deorel versus Ambrio Yadolirimi for the 168 WBC Baking title fight.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the reason why that fight is noticeable because Benavidez is going to be on the undercard for Love, so Benavidez is the mandatory to get his belt back afterwards. I was talking to Caleb Plant, and he was telling me about he's going to be fighting sometime in the summer, and eventually he's going to try to unify with Benavidez. So obviously the only person he's waiting on is Benavidez. So if you want Caleb Plant to fight somebody credible, he's just waiting on Benavidez. So
Benavidez is fast for a big. I mean, he's a big.
Caleb Plant is really small, man, for 168 compared to Benavidez. Like the way I sized up Benavidez, this guy is kind of tall, big, and he's not supposed to be at 168, dude. I mean,
he's like 175. Yeah.
So
that's every fighter. They all fight like 2 weight classes.
That's the
under
thing.
their weight class.
Yeah. So I didn't want to ask him this question because the reporter right next to me was just buzzing with weird questions against Benavidez. But when I went to Churchill Boxing 3 weeks ago, the operation manager right there was telling me that he was considering literally thinking about charging people admission to watch this sparring session between Benavidez against Bivol, because Benavidez was putting in that work. And so if you think about Bivol, he's at 175 and Benavidez is at 168. So that proves my point. Benavidez should not be at 168 at all. This guy should be at 175.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the 68 pounders making their trip now to the 75. Zurdo Ramirez, you know, is rumored, you know, that his next fight might be against Kovalev.
Yeah. Only thing I get about that is it's been a while since we talked about a cocaine all-star.
Don't say that, man.
It's true. Facts.
This Saturday also you got James DeGale versus Chris Eubank Jr. For this fight, it's do or die. Stay relevant or you're off the sport. And then on the undercard, you have Joe Joyce against the Burn.
I'm intrigued by that one.
Yeah. I seen some of the clips of the you know, little interviews with Eubank Jr. and DeGale. Those are kind of funny. DeGale's funny. He's a funny guy. Smart guy. The other guy's like, Chris Eubank's more like a pretty boy and he shoots on him like daddy's boy.
Yeah, DeGale don't give a fuck.
And other than that, and we'll talk about Joe Joyce next week with the heavyweights, but there's also the zone card. And I think we're going to be unanimous on this, that Brandon Rios will not make weight, right?
I have
Another
faith.
dad bod.
You have faith?
I believe.
At 154 against Roberto Soto. This had me thinking that if he is going to be at 154, then more than likely they're going to set him up to fight against Jaime Munguia at 154 later on.
I don't know about that.
There's no problems with promotionals and network right there. And Munguia.
Yeah, but did they really want to feed him to Munguia? That's.
Who do you have between Rios and Munguia right now?
Oh, Munguia, easy, bro. Like, what kind of question is that?
You
Box circles around him. That's hurt him to the body. Like,
why would you want to put him in the main event right now for Rios and Roberto Soto? He's going to be headlining in Tijuana.
Yeah.
So
that's when again?
That's this Saturday.
Oh, TJ Tripp. Been wanting a reason. There's a reason.
Yeah.
You gonna go to that, Chris?
Which one?
Oh wait, yeah. You gonna go to that fight or not?
Which one?
To Rios is fighting TJ.
No.
Dude, you can go see some cockfights like
a donkey show. No, my friend actually, $1 Million Beast is actually making her pro debut. So it's a girl. She's doing, I think, 126. She used to do MMA, but does mostly like boxing. She did MMA for like 10 years and then switched to boxing, and now she's a boxing instructor. But she's like scary as fuck. She has like all muscle. Dang. And she's gonna have her pro debut in TJ.
Okay.
So I'm like, oh, I'm like intrigued. You know, I'm like, oh, I wonder, because again, it is a combat sport, but it's totally different from boxing. Yeah. So it's intriguing. I'm like, oh, let's see how that goes and what happens with
interesting.
her.
So this is not televised, Chris, or it is, or
which one?
Rios fight?
It's in the zone.
The zone. Okay.
Do you know? I think that's one thing that even Serrano, Amanda Serrano, did. She's also like combat fighter as well too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure she
that
gets
bitch is
more
badass.
sparring partners from that side of the sport compared to boxing.
Almost definitely that girl, Christina is her name. She fucking spars guys, and she has videos of like dropping dudes and sparring. And I'm
Damn.
like, dude, she's scary as fuck. Honestly, when I saw her, I'm like, fuck that shit.
Yeah.
So I just hope good luck to her. And let's see
Yeah.
how her pro debut goes.
Good luck. Also, guys, Simon send us a shout out. He says that he loves us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll be tuned in.
got all
March
stalked.
2nd,
Yeah, March 2nd.
Saturday on the zone.
On the zone.
Yeah, we'll be tuned into that fight. Does he have an
Bro
opponent yet?
love.
He doesn't. I every day I check on BoxRec to see if like they announced, but
I did notice one thing from his fight, that it went from 4 rounds to 10 rounds.
What? Really?
Yes.
I don't think it was gonna
Oh.
be a 4-round to be.
Yeah, I didn't think it was. They always put a 4 though,
Yeah.
because that's the minimum. Yeah, 10 rounder should be interesting. I don't know, man. Like they should already have his opponent. Like, how many days are we out?
That's not a good sign, dude.
That's not,
because
man.
if they just find like the guy selling hot dogs on the corner, then
No, but that's what they
Nah,
did
nah, I
in
want
his
a
last
hot dog.
fight.
For real.
That's what they did with his last fight. Like nobody, not that nobody knew, but like they just gave him this fighter, and he already held out for
2
to fight
rounds.
on December 21st, right? They offered him the fight
Yeah.
to be on the undercard for Showtime. So I don't want to say anything about Eddie Hearn yet, but
I was just getting ready to say, "Come on, Eddie Hearn."
Come on, Eddie. He's distracted with Joshua, man. Like,
well,
what did I forget to do?
But I mean, Anthony Sims Jr. already has 17 fights, 16 knockouts. So I mean, at this point, he should be getting better opponents every single time.
Yeah.
So when you say he doesn't have an opponent yet, it's kind of concerning.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to see him just knock all these guys out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. You get a cool paycheck like for a couple rounds, but still.
Yeah, but you're in that development stage where you want to just, have that opponent that pushes you more and more and more, like with each bout.
Yeah, you don't want to end up like Errol Spence at 30 years old.
No.
Wait, by the way, you know how Errol Spence became relevant?
How?
It wasn't even through a fight. It was because remember when they're talking about Mayweather, like, who's he going to fight next? Who's he going to fight? And he started trolling everyone like, oh, I'm going to fight Errol Spence Jr. Remember that shit?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, who the fuck is this Errol Spence? Like, even the name sounded funny, but that's what made him relevant. Yeah, but, yep. That's that.
Errol's the truth. He just needs that.
Yeah, I like him. I think he's good, but he hasn't
Yeah.
fought anybody yet. So,
He's fought
hope he
2
gets fights.
games. Yeah. We want to see him against like really top tier opponents though. For
I
sure.
mean, they're all in his stable, so.
yeah, and I'll try to bring this up next week, but the whole Tyson Fury ESPN deal, I thought that's probably when I was on my way to go to the fights, I was listening to a Bill Simmons podcast. He had Bob Arum on the podcast for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And remember you were telling me when we're doing the Al Heyman special, Chris,
Mm-hmm.
how long is Bob Arum gonna be in the game?
Yeah.
You asked me that question, like, this and that. Dude, I think this is probably one of the most genius moves I have seen. And
From Bob?
For Bob, like, now that I think about it,
Getting
dude.
Tyson?
Yes, dude. I think this is probably one of the best moves I have ever seen, like, from a business standpoint. Let me tell you why.
Well, you have one of the biggest freaking heavyweights names.
Yes.
That's
Let me
one.
ask you something. Who does Deontay Wilder need right now?
Who does who?
Deontay Wilder need to fight
Fury.
Fury, right?
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. Who
No, he
does?
doesn't.
Oh,
I hate when people keep saying that.
okay,
man.
you say that. That's your world.
Who does he? I mean, he doesn't need, but it helps his cause. man.
That's my.
That's why I keep saying they keep ducking AJ, dude.
So, hold up. Who do you,
With this one, I was gonna say no, but like with him going to ESPN,
Okay.
más o menos.
so you're so that's the point. That's in both of you guys' terms. It's true. Deontay Wilder needs Joshua. Deontay Wilder needs Tyson Fury, right? Because not many credible opponents has he fought, right? Only Luis Ortiz, right?
Talking about Spence or I mean,
Deontay Wilder, right? So we're in agreement with that, right?
Yeah.
Who does Terrence Crawford need?
One any of those
Every-
welterweights, man.
Any
He
of the
needs a name.
welterweights.
He needs a
Any
name.
of those
Yeah.
welterweights, right?
Yeah, anybody.
Do you get what I'm trying to go? Right? This is a gentleman's handshake, dude. Hey,
Ah,
I have Tyson Fury. You have Errol Spence and Keith Thurman and Manny Pacquiao, right?
mm-hmm.
Hey, let's negotiate.
Damn, he's playing chess.
Let's do
outside,
this Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury fight, right?
Man.
And then let's make sure that you also come across with my boy Terrence Crawford to fight any of your welterweights later on.
Dang, he's probably
And I will hold Tyson Fury as long as you give me that deal. If not, you're not going to see Tyson Fury because Deontay Wilder needs Joshua or Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury doesn't need Wilder.
Yeah.
Think about that, dude.
Mm-hmm. Well, makes sense. I don't know. Tyson doesn't need the money. He never said that. You know, he's been on like.
He has the money already.
Yeah, he has the money.
$80 million.
I'm guessing Bob Arum told him I'm gonna donate this to like a charity of your choice or something.
And the thing is, man, I should have seen this coming, dude. First of all, this Tyson Fury deal with ESPN, dude, man, this is some Game of Thrones stuff, dude. Because nobody saw this coming. Yeah. And Deontay Wilder, Al Heyman, and Showtime and Espinosa were all waiting to negotiate this fight, and it was being postponed for the second bid, the purse bid. It was being postponed. Now we know why. Because behind their backs, they were doing this deal with ESPN. Mm-hmm. Now this fight between Deontay Wilder and Fury is being like in doubt because there's network promotions. Yep. But at the end of the day, dude, props to Bob Arum. You know why? Now I understand why they had ESPN Plus, Josh Warrington, and Crown Frampton on their networks because there were, and now I know why Anthony Yarde was in ESPN Plus coming up in March 8 because he was trying to bring those English people into the market of ESPN Plus before they get Tyson Fury. Look, Tyson Fury, we're building these English prospects in our networks right here. Look, come to this platform because he wasn't going to be able to convince them if it's only himself, yeah. Because they brought in the whole prospects, all the fighters from Frank Warren, just like the Zone brought Golden Boy Promotions, all their fighters and their network.
Damn.
So this, when I saw this, it surprised me, but I'm like, damn, Bob Arum. You just put a fast one on Al Heyman, dude.
Yeah, that's smart. So, do you think that fight gets made this year or no?
Which one?
Fury Wilder.
I think it's get done in the fall. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, it's not gonna
the spring.
happen right now.
It's just
and if it does, it's a double network showing.
Yeah, it'll be 50-50. ESPN and Showtime or Fox Sports. Yeah, but I mean, jeez, this guy Bob Arum, dude.
Dang, he's 86 years old and still making
87.
87.
Damn.
Dude, I want to be making moves at that age too, man.
Yeah, goals is fun.
Man.
Checkmate on. Everybody hates him.
And he is a legendary promoter, man.
He's the most successful promoter of all time.
Yeah.
We'll argue about that later, but.
Dude, I like when Errol's like, did you see that interview where Bob is like, oh, the best thing you could do is stay away from Terrence.
Yeah, that was a fight. That was a.
And then Spence was like, you're a legendary promoter.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Shit was funny. But yeah,
he knows what to say. Bob.
He does know what to say, man.
Fucking Mayweather should be taking notes.
For real.
Trump.
Yeah. I guess you can say out hustled the flamboyant Don King when we thought Don King was like the shit promoter, the it promoter.
And speaking of Don King, so just last week I ended up posting this post from Boxing Scene, an article regarding Bonis and Martisoyan. He's the fighter who previously fought Triple G over here by the StubHub Center in May. He was the replacement because Canelo was caught with one. And so he ended up finding a replacement, and Bonis Martisoyan ended up fighting Triple G. I'm not trying to go into that much detail into what happened with the negotiations, but Bonis is with Don King, and he ended up having some interesting comments regarding what he's going through. And we were supposed to have him over the phone today.
Before we proceed, we were in contact with the family, right?
Yeah.
Are they okay with you
that
saying what happened?
I was not gonna go into that. Yeah,
good.
We were gonna have him, but we're gonna try to reschedule sometime later on in the future. But until this point, we were scheduled to have him today, but not today.
Keep you guys posted. All right, let's wrap it up.
Right. Lily, you want to sign us off?
I don't know how to do it.
Send your shout-outs. XICANAboxing.com.
Yes, XICANAboxing.com, XICANAboxing on Instagram.
And YouTube, too. Don't forget.
Yes.
You be doing interviews too, huh? You have some interesting
You
stuff.
guys-
Not
that's
as much lately because school is kicking my ass.
Didn't you interview a soccer player?
Yeah, but
Yeah?
that's for my internship. This Monday, I'm going
Still
to
important.
interview Benavides at
She's
the,
like, it's just
It's just
At-
soccer.
at
it's
the
just Errol Spence.
UFC gym because that same
Okay.
strength and conditioning guy,
Yeah.
now he pulled in Benavides.
Mm.
Wow.
So now he's with Benavides, and now he also pulled in Andy, the Destroyer.
Oh, Andy
The
Ruiz.
Reese, he's
And
from
the Reese.
Norwalk, right?
Hmm
Yeah,
he
he's a
he
heavyweight.
trains at Legends,
That's a real dad
But-
bod right there.
but yeah, but now
What?
he's
What?
doing
What'd you
strength and
say? I didn't hear
conditioning over there.
That's a real dad bod. Right
His
there, Andy.
his son and Aiden had like this whole dance off at Legends Boxing with like Fortnite dances. So
Mm-hmm.
they would just do like Fortnite dances to each other. I'm gonna post that shit later. But yeah, so I'm going on Monday if anybody wants to come and we'll talk to Benavides and Reese. Reese has had like really significant shit happen in his
Yeah.
career because he was with Top Rank. He was with Abel Sanchez, and then he left Abel Sanchez to go
Mhm.
to Manny Robles,
Mhm.
and then he left Top Rank, and now he's with PPC,
You know, speaking of,
and now he's like with this guy.
you know, usually if you want to take a day off, you have to tell your boss like a couple of days or weeks, right? So we're like 2 weeks away. So March 4th, you have the press conference for Canelo and Jacobs in Los
Mhm.
Angeles. So make sure you have your day off if you guys want to see Canelo for that day.
I don't care about that fool.
About
Wait,
Canelo?
what'd you say?
Care about that fool.
Wait, what did you say?
Fuck that.
Sorry.
You need a 2-week notice to ask for that day off to go
For
see
us
the
for May 4th?
the
March 4th.
March 4th
March 4th.
press conference.
Press
Oh,
Canelo Jacobs.
yeah. That's just the thing about those things that they're always fucking packed. Like
Yeah.
even as media
The
is like,
casuals.
fuck. Yeah, there was this. The last time I was there,
Casual season.
there was this fucking older lady saying, "Quítate la camisa,
To who?
Canelo." To Canelo. I'm like,
That's funny.
lady, like she literally came here and camped out like in the sun.
Yeah.
It was early, but the sun was so fucking bright
Yeah, we'll
for
bring
the first fight, and she was like fucking yelling obscenities and shit about Canelo.
we'll bring Americanelo. We'll just be like, hey, you heard her.
And
Ugh.
and that's an,
Ugh. Gross, please,
yeah, that's a Monday too.
please.
Lily's like, yeah, take it.
Gross.
Oh,
I would rather.
His picture
fucking-
is here.
I'd rather chop my titties off and put them in a river.
Wow.
I can't. That's disgusting. I pooped in my mouth.
I'm pretty much the same person.
They are.
I'm gonna throw up.
Wow.
Blech.
Why?
That's disgusting.
Damn it.
You have any shout-outs, Christian?
No, I mean, oh yeah, shout out to my cousin. He plays the CIF final this Saturday.
At what time?
We're at
1 p.m. at Warren. I think it's Warren High
it's
School.
always there.
Yeah. So that's the reason I won't be able to see Brandon.
I know. That fight's probably like at 6 or 7.
I can see on his own. I could watch the game and
Yeah.
stream it. So
Yeah, even if
you
you're
guys
in
are
the
welcome.
bathroom.
You guys are invited to come watch the game. What you guys want?
Okay.
Saturday, 1
Yeah.
p.m.
Yeah.
Your cousin's
We'll see.
game?
We'll take
Where
some
is
shots.
it?
It's at Warren High School.
Oh, no.
It's a final. They'll
It's in
never.
Downey, right?
Yeah, around
it's in
there.
Downey.
Fuck, that's far.
It's not far.
I have my kids.
We'll take some shots before you guys. You guys get to meet my whole family. It's a big family. They get loud. My tío brings a tambor.
You guys
they
have
go-
like the real fan
Yeah,
base.
real man.
The thing is, like, again, my internship was with like the soccer team,
Mhm.
and their first game is on Sunday of their new season, and they're asking us to like bring people who have drums. I'm like, I don't fucking know
What?
anybody who has drums.
Se traigan la banda.
And now
¿o qué?
you're like,
There
oh,
you
we
go.
have drums. I'm like, hey, that's actually a thing.
Nah.
That's a
Don't
thing.
tell me they had the bubuzuelas.
I know
too.
we have
Dude.
no
Oh
those.
my
What are those
goodness.
things called? The ones
The
that sound
matracas?
chi-
The
Matracas.
matracas,
Those are
yeah.
fucking loud.
Oh my
Yeah.
I remember when I was little,
I
those
like
shits were
those.
triggering because
cool.
it's so
Yeah.
fucking loud.
Dude, at
They'd
the,
be like,
at the
"Oh,
semifinal
shit."
game, they were like, oh, like we were the visiting team, and they were like, the coach. You see the video? He's like, oh my god, we have so many fans. They're just as loud as like the home fans. And I was like, fuck, that's half of my family right there.
Hey, take pride
Yeah.
in that shit.
Yeah. But yeah, be a good time, guys. We'll drink before, and then we'll just
And drink
go
after
nuts.
too.
We'll drink after.
It's too early, dog.
Sounds like you're gonna
One
be.
is not early. I mean, maybe I'm an alcoholic.
To me,
I
that-
hate day
hold up.
drinking, man.
To me, that sounds like
Except
you're.
when you're in Vegas.
You know what Chris is telling me right now?
Because you stay in the room.
To me, it sounds like Chris is gonna be in Tijuana, dude.
I might end up there, man.
Instead
Shit,
of being
after?
at
How'd I
watching.
get
That's
here?
Saeed. Nah, you don't. You could have never make it.
We can't make it in time.
No.
Time of the fight. We could, no?
¿A qué hora es el
Yeah.
juego?
Because the game's at 1.
It'll be over.
Se va a acabar como a
It'll be
las
over
3:30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah.
1 hour.
You guys
2 hour
are being
drive
so
to-
fucking rushed
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. So
Nah.
I am interested in watching James DeGale, Chris Eubank Jr. though. Lily, I think I'm gonna.
That one's during
one's
like
during daylight.
Mm-hmm.
That one you're gonna miss it, Chris, for sure.
Which one?
DeGale versus Eubank.
Oh yeah. Well, poor Eubank. He's like a Chavez Jr. of the UK.
Yes. no. In fact, his dad is not training him anymore. You know that?
What?
Pues ya se cansaron de beating a dead horse.
Whoa.
Daddy's watching.
He's gonna be like Chavez Sr. when he's like. That shit makes me sad.
Man.
And Faitelson pokes him on the show
Yeah,
about his
Faitelson.
son.
I
It's
know,
hilarious.
dude,
It is sad though.
I hate
It's sad.
Faitelson though. He don't know shit. He's like.
Faitelson pokes him and like Chavez Sr. kind of puts his head down like he knows.
I know. Yeah, he can't say shit.
If I
He
was
can't.
Chavez, I would give him one of those signature hooks, like off air.
Like
Faitelson, ya cálmate,
like
güey.
Cuauhtémoc cuando se lo chingó.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know if you guys have Twitter, but check out his Twitter. People fight this for everything he posts. People respond like about Cuauhtémoc fucking him up. The other day he posted something like, "Oh, tremendo golazo de whatever," because he does soccer too. Right?
Yeah.
And then people were like, "Tremendo el putazo que te metió Cuauhtémoc." And like they just every fucking tweet to this day.
That's not
How
the
long
really-
ago was that? Like 15 years ago?
Lily.
Was it?
Lily.
Oh, really,
Temo
dude?
fucked him up?
It was a long time, yeah.
I gotta see that.
Yeah, today's modern
I'm gonna
era
start the video.
of comments like
Yeah.
that. If Chris pulls up right now highlights of Manchester City versus the team that they played, and then yesterday Liverpool, right? Look at the comments, and you're gonna read in the comments saying Tyson Fury was wrong.
Oh yeah, yes. Those UK fans will use any platform.
Yeah.
Wilder lost that fight.
It's true.
Man, that's just I don't know. You guys don't have, I don't think you guys have Twitter, but you guys should.
Yeah.
When I'm feeling sad, the other day I was so fucking sad at night, and I fucking went to his Twitter and I saw the response, and I
Oh
felt so
my
much better.
That's funny.
That shit fucking had me dying.
Yeah, we need a Twitter.
Sure.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
Yeah, because I post the links to the things on my Twitter.
Lily can manage it.
Hey, there we
Time for all
go.
that.
You'll be
Give you our email. Create our password.
Pretty much have our password already.
stop it.
For real.
Stop it.
Fucking fanboys.
Edit that. Our one fan is like, "Hey, I seen that episode."
Oh, they're waiting for it until we get big. They're waiting for the moment. We ain't changing it.
They're honest.
We're gonna get hacked like Lalo.
Oh my. I think he got deleted again today
No, did he?
because he like posted that Ellie Setback is a rat.
What?
Because I think some other boxing page
They're
posted
practically the same person.
the same thing that like happened to me, where he's like, don't be posting my picture or my image or whatever, right? But I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. So I deleted it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I guess this guy took one of his videos and posted it, and he gave him credit, but
Lalo.
Ellie, no, the other guy, Boxing Hype, no, not Boxing Hype,
Fighter.
Boxing Junkie.
Don't give
no,
anybody free promo.
Not
We don't need their names.
Not
Cool.
anybody real media. Pages like Lalo who just post like copy paste shit. But they posted one of Ellie's videos, give him credit, like, oh, via Ellie Setback or whatever. And Ellie messaged them to take him down, but I guess the guy didn't, so Ellie reported him, and obviously his account got deleted. So Lalo, as a social justice warrior that he is, he took it upon himself to post like, oh, you know, fucking weasel and fucking rat, Ellie Setback. Like, people are giving you free promo. Like, what a fucking asshole. Everybody go comment rat emojis. And if you look at Ellie Setback's Instagram right now, everybody has rat emojis on his fucking pictures and videos. But anyways, what I told Lalo on that post, I'm like, hey, I'm like, I get it. I'm like, but it is his property. I'm like, so he has that right. I'm like, that's journalism.
My shit down
I'm like,
too.
that's
Fuck
journalism
you.
101. I'm like, you don't take people's property. I'm like, you can argue that when you post shit about like the big fights, that you can use that under fair use because you use snippets of it.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's like something that's a YouTube creator,
Yeah.
I'm like, that's
Yeah.
a little bit more touchy because that is their content. I'm like that. I mean, like, he's still kind of an asshole for doing that because it is free publicity.
Yeah.
People are gonna see that 30-second video and be like, oh, I wonder what's
Ellie,
the rest of
yeah.
this. What? So they're gonna look up Ellie's page, Ellie's YouTube. So I get it. It's dumb because it's free publicity, but at the same time, he doesn't want it. He already has enough. So it is. I get Ellie's thing where it's like, don't fucking post my shit. But I also get other people being like, come on, now it's
Yeah.
publicity. So anyway, now Lalo's page is like down.
Damn.
Because I guess Ellie has that, he's...
It's like, Lalo, I know you dropped out of junior college, but you learned journalism 101 in the first week. Come on, bro.
Yeah, and that's just, like we said, bigger fights, like 30-second snippets. Fair use, because you're talking about it,
Or messaging. I mean, I know you gave him credit, but, like, send him a message. Like, hey,
and
do you
I feel
mind?
like if he takes it, tells you, take it down, what are you going to say, no?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, it's his fucking video. Like, when he messaged me, I took it down. He got butthurt about it, but I fucking took it down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be like, no, it's free publicity for you.
¿Cómo?
It's fucking free publicity for you, so no, I'm not going to take it down. It's
Report me. I don't care.
Reporting. He's reporting these Instagram accounts. I don't think he'll get like banned again, but I think it's just like a temporary ban because now he's how his backup pages, he's like, oh yeah, go comment, and yeah, his Ellie's comments are all fucking rad.
Gotta sign out.
All right.
Any last shout outs?
Tyson Fury was robbed.
All right, make sure to follow our Instagram at Against the Ropes. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel Against the Ropes Podcast. Leave your comments, talk your shit, tell us that we're wrong, tell us that we're right. Thank you. Shout out to all the UK fans. I know we were talking about the UK fans earlier.
fans.
Shout out to all you UK fans listening.
And we will make sure to talk about Corolla versus Lomachenko next week.
Yeah.
Hey.
We'll make sure to talk about Liverpool next week too. All right. Signing out.
Signing
Thank you guys. We'll see you guys next week. Have a great day.
Jordan episode.
Hey.
Signing out.
Thank you for listening. Against the Ropes, number 1.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. Thank you for the support. Keep doing your thing. You're doing a great job. So thank you and best wishes.
Against the ropes. Huge shout out to Against the Ropes. Against the Ropes.
Against the Ropes, number 1.
Freddie Roach.
Thank you very much.